What's going on, Chaz?
Hey, how you doing today, big brother? How you feeling today?
Oh, I'm ready to go, man. We got a very important subject matter to continue. Black
Okay.
history, being grown, part 6. And we'd like to thank all those who've tuned in already. We saw Tiger Ray. Tiger Ray says, "Hey, yo, hey, Tiger Ray, we thank you
What's
for."
going on,
Uh,
Ray?
yeah, he subscribed to our YouTube channel. We want everyone to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also hit us
Okay.
up at adults only real conversations at gmail.com. You definitely need to email us and let us know what you think about the broadcast. If there's a subject you want us to talk about, we'll get into it. Sister Barbara, she comes in too. Zurich, she says hotel. So we want to get this party started, Chaz. We're still talking about being grown as we think about Black History Month and some of the tips that we need to share with other people. And I'll say this and I'll turn it over to you. This
Okay.
broadcast can be seen every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. So please, brothers and sisters, tune into this broadcast because we have a lot to say. And without any further delay, Chaz, we're going to talk about what does being grown mean?
Okay. On the screen it says, what does being grown mean? Being grown describes a person who has developed mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally. And this can start off by having self-awareness, having emotional maturity, and a healthy way of managing emotions. And when I say managing emotions, I'm not saying that you can't get angry. I'm not saying that you can't get sad, but you got to learn how to put that in check, meaning you don't always have to fly off at the handle. You don't always have to, put people down per se. Learning how to sometimes say, you know what, every response doesn't deserve a reaction. Learning how to keep your mouth checked because, like I said, it's so easy for us to tear each other down.
It's true, Chaz, and this is why we have to do this broadcast because we're talking about how many of us need to grow up. That's what it boils down to. Myself, you, and others, we have to grow up, and the way we grow up is we have to be developed mentally. This is something that we have to talk about because one must stimulate their mind mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally. Because a lot of us act like little children, and it's
Right.
time now with all the oppression that we're going through, all the racism, all the bigotry, all of the things that we're dealing with as a people. It's time for us to have this grown conversation as we talk about our ancient ancestors who they grew up fast because of their situation. I think we need to take some tips from them so we can see how can we do better as a people when it comes to growing up.
Being grown means not being so negative all the time. And like we always mention, it's okay to have these negative experiences here and there, but it should make up 80% or 90% of the time when I talk to you, brother, what's going on? Oh, all these bills stacking up on me. Brother, what's going on? Oh, I got hit by a bus today. All these things. And when you have a perception like that, it will start to mess with you mentally and spiritually. So I also say that you cannot be an adult and always complaining 24/7 because 9 times out of 10, a lot of people are not going to want to be around you.
Isn't that one of our issues, Chaz, that we have? It's
Yeah.
okay to gripe, when there's a nice something to gripe about, but we gripe all the time. That's the key part. Every time we look around, it's something that we're complaining about. We're never trying to be progressive. We're never trying to be positive. We're never trying to encourage one another. And so when we're grown, we know that negativity is something that we shouldn't bring to the table. Now, kids, young adults, teenagers, they're always complaining. They're always
Right.
negative because they're still growing. But when it comes
Right.
to us as a people, I think we need to really slow down and let people know that this is the only way that we're going to become an adult is we have to stop being so negative. Don't you know that there's so much negativity going on? We don't need all of that, Chaz. We really don't.
Yeah.
Can't you imagine everywhere you turn, social media is negative. Our family members are negative. Our friends are negative. Our co-workers are negative. It's just too much. But a grown person would say, hold on for a second. I'm going to make sure that I'm not negative. So these are some beautiful tips that we're talking about.
Yeah, and I was gonna add real quick. I know a lot of the new agers like they like to put this philosophy of positive vibes only and stuff like that. It's okay. You have to have an equal balance. Meaning, like we said, there's not nothing wrong with being negative sometimes because there are negative things that happen. So let's not be silly here. These things happen, but once again, we cannot be so naive to think that these things are going to keep happening over and over, because it's going to put a lot of people off and not want to be around you. Letter J. Being grown means following through on commitments. Exactly. If somebody asks you to do something and you tell them, I'm going to cut your front yard, I'm going to cut your backyard, or what have you, stick to it. Now, don't be a weak person and say, I'm going to do this, and doggone well you are not doing it at all. You refuse to do it. In your mind, you already thinking, how can I trick him or her so that way I don't have to go through with it? So if you're not going to commit to something, just don't do it. But see, we do this a lot, especially in the African-American community. We give these people these promises, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then when that day comes, they're calling us, we're not answering the phone. So, yeah, I think that's a terrible thing that we're doing, where we're making empty promises.
And yeah, following through on commitments. Sometimes we commit to certain things and then we don't follow through. And so now when we say we're going to be committed to something, people look at us and say, yeah, whatever, because they're used to this. And I think character is one idea that we need to talk about one day on our broadcast, because character is something that a lot of us don't know anything about. Character is what's inside of us. Character is what we're made of. And a lot of us, our character needs to be enhanced a great deal, because this is why we don't follow through on commitments. We always talking about what we're going to do, but we never do it. We always complaining about what's going on in the educational system, but we never have any alternative. We always complaining on what's going on socially, economically, but we don't seem to have an answer, because we don't know how to follow through on commitments. And I think that's terrible. But I want to say something before we get to the next point. I want to thank all of our new subscribers, all of those who have subscribed to us on YouTube. Please share this broadcast, put a like up on it and send it to other people, because we need to have these types of discussions. And the only way we're going to have them is if all of us start sharing our information and letting people know that this broadcast, adults only, real conversations, we come on every Wednesday, and we really want to slow it down and talk about what grown people or adults talk about, because a lot of the things that we're talking about, they're not getting us anywhere.
Letter K. Being grown means accepting correction without always being defensive. Yeah, and I don't know what this is. This has been a problem for years and years and years. When somebody corrects us, no matter how their tone is in their voice, we automatically get our backs up against the wall. We already ready to start shouting, fighting, who are you to tell me? And, going back and forth. And it's okay with correct criticism. But see, the problem is we don't want to be corrected. We want to just, walk around thinking we can walk on water. We don't have any issues. And when someone confronts us, not negatively, but when they just tell us about it, we get our backs up against the wall. And that has been an issue with this society for decades on top of decades. And I don't know why it's like that.
Well, it's like that, Chazz, because no one wants to be told what to do. Nobody wants to be corrected. Nobody wants to say, you know what? The point you just made was perfect. I'm so sorry. I'm going to concede what you're saying, and then I'm going to readjust my thinking. Because many of us, we think we know everything, and we always say that, but it's so true. This is why correction is difficult in the African-American community and other communities, but we're talking about us now, because most of us, we don't like to be corrected, and we think that when someone corrects us, especially when they catch us in a bold-faced lie, or they give us facts that we don't have, we get defensive because we think that's a put down. But see, psychologically, that's not a put down. It should help us grow. And this is why a lot of us have issues when we have these kinds of discussions, because everyone wants to be right. And that's not something that we should adhere to. We should be able to stand for correction, especially when someone corrects us.
Yeah, and like you said, this has just been an ongoing problem. And once we get that out of our minds, that we're not perfect, we're going to make mistakes, then that's when I think a society will get better. But it's terrible at this moment. This is shout out to all of our family members on Adults Only. Real conversations who post positive, affirmative, historical, motivational, purpose-driven, inspirational, and challenging posts. Keep it up, family. And we truly appreciate that. All you guys who've been supporting us throughout the couple years that we've been on, we really appreciate you. Tell somebody about this broadcast, because we really do enjoy your feedback. We don't care how many times you comment, as long as the comments aren't, using obscenities and things like that.
Yeah, I like to add to that, Chaz. I want to thank all those who are posting on social media, and they're posting positive affirmation, historical, motivational, purpose driven, and inspirational, challenging posts where they give us information. Sometimes it's a historical one, sometimes it's a word of wisdom. See, this is what we're saying. Keep it up, family. We want you to keep posting. Make the internet your friend. Don't make it slut. Don't make it something that we as a people should, stay away from. Use the internet to your advantage. Don't always be looking on the internet to find the dirt on someone or trying to be like someone. So this is a part of being grown, because grown people, they post positive things. They're always encouraging people, and this is what we don't see too much of. We don't see too much of the examples. So, but those who are doing it, we wanted to just stop and take a moment to say to you, we definitely appreciate what you're doing, and keep on posting those positive posts, because that helps us all out.
Absolutely. Being grown means not always complaining and doing nothing about what one is complaining about. Now, like we said, when the issue first arises, it's okay to say something, but just complaining, beating a dead horse, keep reiterating it over and over. You got to put something in action. So, for example, if you need a job, or if you're not employed at the moment, you can't just say, oh, the job market is bad. Oh, these people not hiring. No, you got to put action to that. Call these places, put in applications, ask relatives, do they know who's hiring? But to sit back and keep complaining about the issue without diagnosing it, you're just setting yourself up for failure. So basically, when you have an issue, you got to put something in motion to get the ball going.
Yeah, and I want to add to that, Chaz, because I definitely want to build on that. Because when we look at many of us, we complain all the time and we do nothing about what we're complaining about. Now, this is talking to, in my regard, this is talking to a lot of us who are socially active. We always look at what's going on in politics. We look at what's going on in religion. We look at what's going on in just different facets of life, but we don't do anything about it. We just like to complain. We always have something bad to say about the situation, but we don't do anything about it. And so we need to just kind of really take this in our hearts and understand that some of the things that we complain about, we can do something about it. For example, we complain about our weight sometimes. This is just an illustration. We complain about, well, I'm getting big, but we never do anything to try to get smaller. We never eat the right foods. We never think the right thoughts. We never do exercise. We never do anything, but we complain all the time. We complain about the so-called white man that's doing this and doing that. But what we complain about, we don't do anything to try to help our people. So, this is where we are now. Many of us as African Americans, we like to complain, but we don't like to have any type of affirmation or any type of application. And I think that's what's really hurting us a lot, because we're going to complain till the cows come home, and we do have a lot to complain about. But the challenge is, what are we doing about the complaints that we have?
And once again, here's the thing. Now, when we keep complaining like that, I think some of us, we're so used of the attention. We like the people that surround us or call us or email us and who are constantly wanting to know. So like I said, when somebody, not in all cases, but in some cases, when these people aren't getting anything going, they like to hear themselves complain, because I think they love the attention that comes with it. Being grown means listening more than talking all the time. Yeah, listen to people. We love, and myself included, we love to run our fat mouths, but sometimes we need to just be a listening ear, listening to someone else's pain, listen to someone else's struggle. People are having it hard, but we love to run our fat mouths. And once again, we need to learn how to say, you know what? Let me listen to what this brother, sister is going through, and not dismiss them so quickly either.
Yeah, and when we talk about listening, being grown means listening. See, because a child or adolescent, a kid always, they'll sprout out at the mouth because they don't know any better. They're waiting for you to say something so they can get in on what you're saying. And when you're talking, they're trying to catch you in a loophole as opposed to really learning. But see, being grown means really listening more than talking all the time, because when we listen, we can hear and we can sense what that person is truly going through. And sometimes that person is telling us, I need help. That person is telling us, I need a friend. That person is telling us, I just need a listening ear. But what we want to do is we want to tell everybody that we have the answer before they're done talking, or we go back to the same old, rigmarole. When I was growing up, this is what I did. It's not about that unless what you did, there's some truth and application to it. The African American community is dying because many of us don't like to listen. And this is why we're immature. We don't broadcast like this. That's really out on the ups. They're on the up and up. Broadcast like this that takes our time and tell people these are things we can do to better ourselves. We don't want to hear these things, Chazz. And this is why most of us have the problem. We're not committed to anything. We're not committed to ourselves. We're not committed to our family. We're not committed to our health. We're not committed to our mind. We're not committed to our faith. We're not committed to our education. We're just, ships sailing without a sail. And I think being grown means listen more than always flabbergasting and flapping.
And before we move on real quick, I got to say something about the previous post. Now, if you could put it back on the screen real quick, I want to mention something. Here's the thing. Now, I'm not condoning this. When we're not listening to our brothers, but see, if you look at the statistics, a lot of our youth, or even 18 through 30, I believe, the male suicide is going through the roof now. I'm not suggesting doing that, but I'm saying when some of these brothers are constantly calling, constantly texting, constantly emailing, that is them 9 times out of 10. They're asking for help. They're asking for trouble. Now, when they feel ignored, when they feel that society is throwing them away, when they feel rejected and neglected, I'm not saying that this is right, but this is why the suicide rate is up, because they're saying, I need help. Nobody's listening. And I don't think they're doing it to draw attention, but they're doing it because they're crying out for help. And I just want to put that out there because that male suicide, it is terrible right now. And they're doing it at an alarming rate because, like we just mentioned on the screen here, they don't have anybody that's listening to them and taking them seriously.
And a grown person would take them serious. A grown person wouldn't listen to somebody's plight and go back and tell somebody else about it. See, this is what's happening. Someone pours their heart out to us, and we go and take what they told us in confidentiality, and we get on the phone or we talk to other people about them. This is a disgrace. This is repulsive. This is reprehensible. Any words you can think of to show that as an adult, we have to grow up. All of us included, but we don't know how because most of us are like children in our thinking. And instead of saying, I need to really fix myself, we're too busy looking at other people and talking about them.
Sister Barbara fires in here and she says, being of age makes us grown, but not always mature. We're not ready for responsibility and ownership for our wrongdoing. That's absolutely. We have all these adults that want to be adults, but they hate accountability. Men and women, we hate accountability. And she's right. Just because you're old by number, doesn't always necessarily correlate to you being a mature adult. She's absolutely spot on.
As we said earlier, being grown describes a person. Let's look at the definition because that's where it's at right there. It's right in that definition. Being grown describes a person who has developed mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally. And see, this is the part we can't get away from, Chazz. We can run from this until the cows come home. But being grown is a description. It's a description of what a person has done mentally, emotionally, and behaviorally. And that's where we find ourselves in a whole lot of hot water because many of us are children and are thinking, and we don't want to own up to the fact that since I'm acting childish, I got to do something about it. Because our ancestors, as we think about Black history, we look at what they had to do. They had to grow up. They didn't have time to be telling jokes and, hanging on the corner and just being busybodies doing nothing. They didn't have time to be on the cell phone talking about everybody, gossiping and listening to all of the nonsense that people put into us. They didn't have time for that. And a lot of them didn't want to do that. But see, we've gotten complacent. And this is what we feed off of. We don't want to have these kinds of discussions. And this is why I keep saying it, man. We're going to find ourselves in more hot water the older we get, because instead of us growing up, I want to say something, we grow down. We don't grow up, we don't grow up, we grow down. We grow down. And that's bad, man. That's bad.
Letter N. Being grown means focusing on solutions, not gossip or hearsay. And I said this a little bit earlier. You know, it's okay to express ourselves from time to time, but we got to have some kind of solutions. We can't just sit back and just hope that something miraculously drops out of the sky, or just, you know, like we said, call people on the phone and gossip about one another. That's why a lot of people don't like to open up to us in the first place, because they know in the back of their mind, if I tell this brother what I'm going through, 9 times out of 10, once I leave his apartment or home, he's going to get on that phone and rip me to shreds, you know, about what I've been doing in my personal life. Now, it's a terrible thing, but we got to stop this gossiping and keep this stuff, whatever these people tell us, keep it to ourselves and not always, you know, go out and tell their business to others.
See, this is the kind of stuff that we're showing now is what we should be talking about on a lot of occasions, not just during Black History Month, because these people paved the way for us. And I think it's important that we go ahead and that we play a video that's going to show exactly what I'm saying. Chazz, I got a question for you, and I want you to just think this through and answer it. I know you don't have, it's not a one answer that I'm looking for, but what happened? What happened to our appetite for what we just saw? What happened to our appetite for bettering ourselves? What happened to our appetite as grown folk to better our children? Please help me out, because I'm struggling trying to find out why we don't have many people that are excited about moving forward as opposed to just stuck on stupid, if you will.
I would break it down to two parts. The first part I would say is those people that we just witnessed on the screen, they had a fight in them. They had a hunger for this information. The people nowadays, and this is not to put anybody down, but just look around. You look around in society, they don't have a hunger for this anymore. And the problem is, you add that on top of social media, and we're constantly bombarded with all these phones, all these apps, all these TV shows. That's what really happened, brother. So like I said, to reiterate, it's a combination of one, The people don't have the hunger for this anymore. And number two, we're bombarded with too many distractions via TV, social media, the list goes in our jobs, the list goes on and on.
Okay, that's well said. I have nothing else to say to that because that I just kind of wanted to know, and that definitely answers what I asked you.
Letter O, being grown means supporting local efforts that helps one's community. And you can do this, for example, by volunteering service, offering skills to a nonprofit, helping the elderly. You got another compartment, which is economic support, shopping at local independent businesses. And then you got one more compartment, which is donating. You can give blood by donating to food pantries. These are all ways I think that we can help our communities. Now, you don't have to broadcast it. You could tell, a few people in your household. You don't even have to put it on social media. But this is a way how, in my opinion, how we can help our local communities.
Yeah, Chazz, a lot of us talk about helping local communities, but we're so selfish. And this is what childishness is. Childishness is just thinking about oneself. It's egotism. It's egocentric ideology. Most of us aren't going to help anyone. Okay. We don't even help ourselves. And so we have a group of people, and I know sometimes people don't want to hear this kind of language, but this is love language because, Chazz, we're in a dire situation and we need to support those local businesses and community organizations that's actually doing something. But a lot of us, we don't know how to do it, Chazz. We're not interested in that. We're interested in supporting all the nonsense that come around, when it talks about going to some kind of club and, drinking till the cows come home. This is what we're doing. I just want to say to everyone, you're watching Adults Only, Real Conversations with Jahi and with Chazz. And so that's what we're talking about tonight, being grown. And let's talk about some comments that we have here.
Sister Mashonda fires in here. She says hello. And Sister Mashonda fires back in here. She says, it's always good to volunteer, feeding the homeless, etc. When I have time to, I try to volunteer. That's brilliant. That's well, excuse me, that's well said. You got to have a good heart. You got to have patience to feed the homeless or to even volunteer, because a lot of us, we're wrapped in around our own little bubble. We don't really want to get out and do much. So for her to actually do that's very rare. And I want to go back real quick, how we're talking about helping the local communities. And I keep saying this, and I have to bring this point home. The local communities, 9 times out of 10, they're a small, and I'm not joning them, but a small mom and pop store. They're going to jack and make the prices skyrocket. And see, we're so ignorant and naive. We think that they're trying to get over, and we think that they're corrupt and crooked. No, Walmart, all these big corporations, Target, Big Lots, they are so much what you call economically farther ahead than these mom and pop stores. That's why the mom and pop stores have to drive up the prices to try to match with Walmart, because if they don't, Walmart and all these other big corporations will blow them out the water. So the point that I'm trying to get to is basically, when you see those high prices, don't get angry or look at the owner sideways. They have to do that because they're trying to keep up with the big markets as well. Letter P, being grown means encouraging others, not always putting them down. I'll let you take that one as I take a sip real quick.
Yeah, please take a sip. Take a long sip, because many of us don't know and don't want to encourage anyone. If it's not about us, we don't want to have anything to do with it. We're always talking about other people. We're always pointing the finger at others. We're always backbiting others. We're always saying how wrong someone else is, but yet we don't look at ourselves. We're always talking about someone else's children, but we don't look at our own children. We're always talking about someone else's whatever, but we don't talk about ours. See, being grown means that sometimes people just need a little encouragement. They don't need to be put down all the time. They don't need to be talked down to. They don't need to be, discarded as they're nothing. Their humanity is nothing. So this is why I think it's important for us to reiterate that when we say being grown means something, we're giving you basic practical tips that you can take and use in your life. But unfortunately, Chazz, many of our psyches are so messed up that this kind of language means nothing to us. We don't
Wow.
have an appetite for it, as we said earlier, and it's sad, but this is why we're so childish, because we don't encourage one another. We're always putting other people down because we want people to think we're better than others when we're all messed up. When you think about it, we all have problems, we all have issues, we all have psychological idiosyncrasies that we're going through. But once again, we want everybody to think we're good and everybody else is bad.
Well said. Being grown makes being informed before speaking on serious issues. Exactly. Letting people know what's going on in the news, letting people know what's going on in the government, getting these words out, because once again, it's easy to sit back and talk about the little things that we like, but getting serious issues out to keep people aware. Because here's the thing, a lot of people, and I don't know the percentage off the top of my head, a lot of people aren't really aware of these issues because, like I said, they're wrapped up in their little job, their little house, their little car, all their little belongings. We have to get these the word out to these individuals, because a lot of them, brother, and I'm not saying this to put them down, a lot of them are lost. They are. And it's not me thinking that I'm better, and it's not me thinking that I'm perfect, but a lot of our brothers and sisters, brother, they're lost. Just look around. Just look around.
Yeah. And a lot of us don't want to be informed because that's going to require that we do some research. That's going to require that we study. That's going to require that we dig deep in the subject matter before we open our mouths, because all we do is look at social media. Whatever social media says, we run to it, or whatever our friend posts, we run to it. And so what you have are a group of people who are as crazy as a Betsy bug, but they don't think they're crazy, because all they do is they don't look into being informed. They just like to speak on serious matters and don't know what they're talking about. Well, here's a young lady, here's a girl that's going to show you that when she talks about something, she's done her research on it. And I think this is worth recognizing, because this is crucial as we think and talk and reflect on.
Harriet Tubman was born 1822. She died in 1913. Harriet Tubman was an African-American abolitionist who escaped slavery in 1849 and became the leader of the Underground Railroad. Harriet Tubman was nicknamed Moses. She saved over 70 people to freedom. Against all odds, she showed a willingness to help Black people to 1850 to 1860. Are you willing to help an African American? That's a Black History fact.
As we look at this, Chazz, first of all, I want everybody to know that you're watching Adults Only, Real Conversations with Jahi and Chazz. Chazz, she asked a question that I want to reflect on. She said, are we willing to help an African American? Being grown means helping people. Right. Harriet Tubman, Malcolm X, we can go on and on, Fannie Lou Hamer, you know, all these names that we throw out, they help people. But a lot of us aren't interested in helping people. And this is why I call us hypocrites, because a hypocrite will say one thing and do something else. A hypocrite won't be serious to serious subject matter. A hypocrite won't tune in to watch not this broadcast, but other broadcasts that talks about how we can become better people. A hypocrite doesn't have an appetite to say, I'm going to commit to watching every 6 at 6 o'clock on Wednesday nights, the adults only real conversations, because I have something to say. See, a hypocrite will always pick and find things to talk about and won't give us anything that's solid that's going to help us. So she says, are we willing to help an African American? No. We'll talk about an African American. We'll drag us through the mud. We won't give us any information. We won't share any knowledge. We won't share our finances. We won't share anything. But we're always talking about we're grown. So, Chazz, I didn't want to really go on that rant, but I had to, because that was a crucial question she asked. Are we willing to help an African American? And all people are going to do is say they're going to help, and then they're going to talk about the people that they can be helping. Well, they can help themselves. Well, everybody falls on hard times, Chazz. You never can tell what people are going through. So we got to stop this nonsense, because a lot of us just, we're gone, man.
Let me ask you a quick question. Sister Sharon fires in here. She says, hey, family, we appreciate you, Sister Sharon, firing in here. I want to ask you, and I get frustrated sometimes when I look around and I see some of this stuff, who should we be more angry with? The people for not being able to read through the news and see how they're portraying us, like you said, these criminals, these thugs, these worthless people who are nothing. And all we want to do is steal, kill, get people pregnant, and not take care of our kids. How come us as people can't read through that and see that the media has done a terrible, well, in their eyes, the media has done a good job at portraying us as the villains? Why can't we see through that, most of us?
Because our mindset have been so Europeanized. See, we're not committed to anything that's serious, because a grown person will look through the nonsense that they see on television. They'll look through the media and they'll see all of the nonsense that's going on and say, that's not true. They'll do their own research. But a lot of us, we listen to what one person or a news channel says, and we run with it like we're really some kind of news anchors. But we're really ignorant, Chazz. It's a preponderance of ignorance if you think about it. And so this is all I'm trying to say tonight is we're talking about being grown, but a lot of us aren't grown because we can't commit. We're not committed, and that's our problem. We're not committed to anything, and that's why we're finding ourselves in the serious problem, troubled lives that we have.
Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, awesome job, Coco and the Liberation Academy. Appreciate that.
Yeah, and I wanted to say, too, I keep saying this broadcast can be seen at 6 o'clock. That's Central Time. Ray corrected me, and he's right. If you live in the Midwest, or if you live on the East Coast, it's 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I stand corrected depending on where you are. And I thank Brother Ray for straightening me out, because I'm so used to saying this broadcast can be seen at 6. Well, that's if you're on Central Standard Time. So thank you, Brother Ray. It's 7 o'clock p.m. If you're in the Midwest, or if you're on the East Coast, it's 8 o'clock. So once again, all of you guys who haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to Adults Only. We want to get our viewership up so we can begin to affect and infect more people, because the subject matter that we're talking about is for adults only. It's not for chumps. It's not for Rudy Poops. It's for people who say, I'm ready to do something about my life. It's not for hypocrites. It's not for people who fly-by-nighters. You come one day, we don't see you for a year. It's for people who say, I need to better myself, you see. And this is all we're trying to say, brothers and sisters. We have to do better, because all of us, we need to grow up. And so, Chazz, I want to put another one up here that we want to talk about.
Letter R. Being grown means starting a community group that deals with at least one issue we need solving. Yeah, but a lot of us are a little bit too shy. A lot of us don't really, like I said, we don't like to interact with people, but we should. If it's, I don't know, social media, they have these groups to where you can reach out to people. For example, if you're trying to fight the homeless, meaning you're trying to get programs and stuff together with them, there's all kind of people in your neighborhood or network that can help you do that. But that is accurate, brother. We do need to at least get a couple people with us or around us that can help get the job done.
You know, Chazz, you know, you think about what happened in the past and all our ancestors as to what they did. It's been about 50 to 60 years since that happened back there with Dr. King, Malcolm, and the group, all of them. And it's been hundreds of years since Frederick Douglass and them came on the scene. And we're still complaining today, because we won't do exactly what this thing just says as far as being involved in a group. We don't watch broadcasts like this. We don't want to be a part of a group. that's going to actually try to help us become better people. We want to be a part of SMUT. We want to be a part of those groups and those organizations that's meaning nothing. We don't want to pool our resources together. We don't want to study and research so we can teach our children what to look out for in this vicious and this mean world. All we want to do is put something in our belly, whether it's food or whether it's alcohol or whether it's dope or whether it's nonsense, or, you know, we don't want to do that, Chazz. And this is why we're going to keep showing these videos, because we need to know about what's going on. You are watching the Chazz and Jahi broadcast called Adults Only, Real Conversations, brothers and sisters. But now you're going to watch something that you... We'd like to thank all of those who are watching this broadcast. This broadcast is called Adults Only, Real Conversations with Jahi and Chazz, and we talk about issues that affect us every day. Tonight's subject is Black history being grown. The reason we want to talk about being grown, because many of us, including myself, we're very immature. We're very childish. And with everything that's going on within our lives and within our communities, within the societies, we're going to have to grow up. So we thank you for tuning into this broadcast, because we recognize you didn't have to do it, but we thank you for tuning in, because our broadcast is very important for those who are adults. And so once again, brothers and sisters, you can watch us. You can see us every Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time, at 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Thank you, Brother Ray. At 7 o'clock and at 8 o'clock if you're on the far east. So thank you once again, brothers and sisters, for tuning in. You don't know how much we appreciate you being able to take time out of your busy schedule to listen to two guys pour their hearts out about a subject matter that's just, it's really detrimental. And we are losing our babies, we're losing our kids, we're losing our grandparents, we're losing our mothers, we're losing our fathers, we're losing our friends, all because our appetite is not for these kinds of broadcasts.
Brother Ray Farson here, he says, my mother's name is Bessie Coleman too. I think he's messing around. Okay.
Yeah. So let's continue to talk about what being grown means, Chazz. Here it is.
Letter S. Being grown means sharing information that helps, not only harms. See, yeah, it's easy for us to share the negative information and gossip, who did what on these magazines or what have you. But sharing information that helps to get this information out, because like I said earlier, brother, a lot of us we just don't have this knowledge. And like you said, if it's not on social media or if it's not on the news, we're not going to really do our own research. We're just going to believe it. Or sometimes, like I said, we're so naive we don't know that this information is out there. So it is important to gather as much information that you can and share it amongst the people. If you see that they don't want it, you step back and you move forward and you find people that do.
You know, brothers and sisters, I want to beg you tonight. I want to implore with you. I want to plead with you that this point here is important. Being grown means sharing information that helps. It's too many harmful things going on today. It's too much information that hurts us. It's too much information that drags us through the mud. So we're saying that if you're grown, you're going to share information that helps, okay? Not only harms, see? We like to talk about that which does us in, but let's start building better internal relationships with ourselves so that when we talk to people, we can tell them some nice things that's going to help them, that's going to encourage them, that's going to bring them from point A to point B. And so all we're doing tonight is saying, we really appreciate your viewership, but we want you to do something about these points. We're not just on this broadcast so you can hear us flap our gums. These points that we're making should be taken to our hearts. And these points should be done in our lives so that we can become better people, because that's the goal on this broadcast. Adults only. Email us at adultsonly realconversations@gmail.com. We really would appreciate it. Take it away, Chazz.
Being grown means building relationships instead of always isolating oneself. And like we said, you can get yourself involved with some online communities. All of them aren't harmful. This one is a good example that isn't harmful, and it's to help others. If you can, some people in your neighborhood, the local library, and getting involved in things that's going to help, because sometimes if you isolate for too long, I think that's what some of the people get depressed at. They don't know what else to do after that. So like we said, online forums, online communities, that's all fine as long as you're around the right people.
Yeah, but see, building relationships, brothers and sisters, building relationships, it's paramount. It is very, very important that we build relationships instead of isolating ourselves always. Now, everyone likes to spend time alone every now and then. I'm not talking about that, but I'm talking about those who want to live a life as monks, those who want to get away from society, those who want to go in a cave and never come out and talk to people, those who want to be left alone all the time, those who don't want to say, when you build a relationship, that's natural. When you isolate yourself, that's unnatural. So here we have people that don't know how to build relationships. And so this is why people run to these places to try to find love, looking for love in all places. Well, because you don't know yourself. We don't know how to treat our children. We don't know how to treat our elders. We don't know how to treat our relatives. So what we have is we have a situation where we don't know how to build relationships. But when we're grown, we should look at that as something important. We should look to build relationships because that's what's going to help us, Chazz. I really believe that. That's actually what we're dealing with.
Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, you're absolutely right, big brother. I appreciate your words of wisdom. So she's acknowledging what we're saying is right, and we appreciate her for firing in here. Brother Ray fires back in here. He says, people say they are grown when they are doing wrong. Yeah, they love to say that, especially as teenagers or when we're in middle school, we would tell our parents, I can't wait till I get grown. Well, that 9 times out of 10, we were being disciplined at the moment, and that was us trying to get back at the parents saying, when I get grown, like Brother Ray said, I'm going to do wrong and do all this stuff that I know is not good for me. But he's spot on that comment as well.
He's right, because a lot of times when you correct people that are adults or they're maybe past their age, the age of 20, they'll say, I'm grown. In other words, like that's a pass to do what they want to do because that the number is big. See, this is the psychological damage that have happened to us, Chazz. And Brother Ray hit it on the head. When they do wrong and you say, well, hey, if you say, well, Jahi, you shouldn't be selling that stuff. You shouldn't be drinking that stuff. You shouldn't be doing that. Instead of me saying, Chazz, you know what, man, you right. I'm gonna have to cut that out. I'm gonna say, you can't tell me anything because I'm grown. And this is a detriment to the African American community. And most of those viewers that's watching this, you know it's the truth. The question is, when are we going to be grown, Chazz, and begin to do those things that's going to help us, help our babies, help our grandparents, help our loved ones, help our friends? Because if you look at what's going on all around us, social media is whack. When you look at, for the most part, when you look at all the negativity that's going on, what are we going to do, Chazz? Are we going to continue to just act like we can't do anything to help ourselves? Or are we going to keep running to these buildings, getting this stuff put in us that's not going to help us? Or are we going to begin to look within ourselves and say, I got to work on me. I got to work on me. I can't work on you. I have to work on me.
And just to answer your question real quick before we move on, I think a lot of us are going to put, and I hate saying this, we're going to put our head in the sand, act like this stuff isn't that bad. We're making this up, and we're just going to put our heads down and try to ignore it when we know this stuff is getting louder and louder by the day. Letter U, being grown means volunteering your time to a worthy cause. Now, a sister on here earlier said she likes to try to help when she has the time, feed the homeless. That's excellent. And you don't have to do it for attention. You see people are hungry. You hope if you give them money that they will do the right thing. And that's the bad part. And let me just say this real quick about the homeless. We're so used to getting burned by them. Everyone we see, if we don't have money, if we don't have food in our car, we'll say, I ain't giving him or her nothing. All they're going to do is go smoke it up. Well, I'm at a point now, if you are going to give them money, that's between them. If they do the wrong, you hope that they do it right. They go get them something to eat or something to drink. But they always get this, and some of them do. So let me be fair. A lot of them do have addiction, but not all of the homeless are like that. Some of them are just struggling. They're out of their minds. They probably have a bad brain, but it's just not good to put that negative stigma on all the homeless that all of them going to, smoke it up and stuff like that.
Let's challenge ourselves. All of those who are viewing this broadcast, all of those who we love dearly, all of those who said, I'm taking a time out of my busy schedule, and I'm going to watch Adults Only Real Conversations. Those who have subscribed to our YouTube channel, our Facebook channel, look at this number U, look at this letter U, I should say, and ask yourself this question as I ask myself this question. What have we volunteered our time to that's worthy? Don't answer it. That's rhetorical. Just let it go. Let the plane fly. Don't land the plane yet. Just let it keep flying. But everybody asks themselves this question. What are we volunteering our time to that's worthy? And let's leave it at that.
Letter V. Being grown means nothing. Being grown means making up your mind once and for all. And to be real about our involvement in helping our youth and our elders. Yeah, you got to make your mind up. And once I said it's okay for some time to be not all the way sure, but we gotta make our mind up and be sincere. If it's helping the elderly, do it. If it's helping you, do it. And don't be wishy-washy like you like to say. You only want to tour with the band when things are going right. No, you gotta actually put in the time and effort, even when you don't feel like it, even when your car is broken down.
Yeah, Chazz, that's the point. Our elders and our youth. Chazz, if you just open your eyes, and if I open my eyes, our youth are struggling.
Yeah.
Our elders are struggling. And we are the ones that supposedly have all the answers. So being grown means making up your mind that you're going to commit to helping our elders. Many of us don't even go to rehabilitation centers anymore. We don't go to nursing homes. We just want the preacher to go. We just want the imam to go. We pass by these places every day. And just because we don't have family members in these nursing homes, what stops us from going in there? Other than us being selfish. See, this is the kind of conversation, Chazz, that big boys and big girls like to talk about. See, adults like to say, Brother Jahi, Brother Chazz, y'all both have convicted me because we're convicting ourselves. Because we do the very things that we're talking about. But because we are a part of the family, we are coming at you as brothers that's going to say, we all got to do a better job, Chazz. Our youth are dying, man. Our youth are committing suicide left and right. Our elders are lonely, and we have the answers, but we want to be isolated and just stay on a cell phone, stay on a computer, and make as much money as we can, drink as much wine as we can, read as many books as we can, watch as many sporting events as we can, watch as many movies as we can, watch as many documentaries as we can, cuss as much as we want to. So, Chazz, you see, this is the kind of broadcast that basically it condemns all of us because we have to do better. And that's why we're saying to those who are watching this, we definitely appreciate your patience. We definitely appreciate your attendance, but don't take us wrongly. We're saying that we all have to do better, brothers and sisters, and every one of us, we are all included in that.
Sister Mashonda fires in here. She says, it's not about the age, it's about being mature. Exactly. Like we always say, just because you're 20, 30, or 40, that doesn't necessarily mean you're grown if you're not being a mature adult as well. But she's spot on with that. And Brother Ray fires in here. He says, an adult is far more than being grown. Yeah, we got a lot of responsibilities. And like you said, it's far more than just being grown. You got to do it as far as mentally, spiritually, emotionally. There's a lot of different assets than just one factor here. So we appreciate Ray as well. Sister Barbara fires in here. She says, what does isolation look like as a grown-up? But no one refuses to be amongst others because of their selfishness.
Yeah, that's terrible. She's right. She isolationism rather, that's where people don't like to be. You hear that a lot now when we get older. I don't want to be around my family. They messy. Or I don't care about them. I'm gonna love them from a distance. That's the most preponderous thing I've ever heard. That's the most ridiculous thing I've heard. Because most of us have issues, man. And I'm telling you now, brothers and sisters, we have to do a better job. And that's why we're doing this broadcast, because every one of us, we have some problems that we have to take care of. So you can watch all these fancy people on your social media channel network. You can watch them all put themselves on a pedestal. You can look up to them and kiss their butts and, bow down to them because you think they're superstars and celebrities. No, we're Chazz and I are just two people, two men who are struggling like everyone else, but we have enough guts. We have enough guts. I would say the other word, but I don't want us to get dinged. But we have enough guts to basically talk about those things that are affecting the African-American community. And we're just ecstatic about you guys tuning in to watch us, because once again, you didn't have to do it. And we thank you, Brother Ray. We thank you for watching the broadcast. You thank us for doing the broadcast, but we thank you for watching it because you are a faithful viewer. Share this broadcast, send this broadcast out, give us the likes, support us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, email us at adultsonlyrealconversations@gmail.com. We're going to leave you with the video that you saw already, because we are not going to stop showing it, because this video that we're going to show once again is very important that we look at where we've been and where we are now and where we're going. So once again, Chazz, that's my way of signing off, because we've done our hour. Next Wednesday at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time and 7 o'clock Eastern Time, this broadcast can be seen. And if you're on the East Coast, New York, Philadelphia, Washington, Baltimore, Pittsburgh, you can tune in at 8 o'clock. And once again, Chazz and my heart is big. It's huge, because we appreciate you guys saying, I want to watch two brothers that's not going to come with the dumb stuff. That's not going to come with the okie doke stuff. That's not begging for my money. That's not trying to put me down. That's just telling the truth. And so that's why this broadcast is called Adults Only. Chazz, you're going to have the last word. And after you get done, we'll get right into this video. And once again, brothers and sisters, you don't know how much we appreciate you watching this broadcast tonight. We love you to death. So continue to share this broadcast and be a part of what we do every Wednesday at 7 o'clock Central, at 6 o'clock Central, I should say, and 7 o'clock Eastern. Take it away, Chazz.
I appreciate you having me on. But tonight was an interesting broadcast. We talked about what it is like being an adult. And that's basically, like we just mentioned, putting in time with the elderly, putting in time with the youth. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of our youth, they're committing suicide at an alarming rate. The grown males are committing suicide at an alarming rate. This stuff is serious. We need to get this information out to others and help them be more aware, because a lot of them may not know that this stuff is going on. And sharing this information is crucial, and not always sharing the negative stuff. It's easy for us to sit back and criticize and always putting people down, but being an adult it's more than just paying bills. It's more than just, putting our kids in school. It is a huge responsibility, and we must continue to grow each and every day, mentally, spiritually, and financially as much as we can. Appreciate you for having me on, big brother.